Hola, alma hermosa. I'm Vicki Howie of ChakraBoosters.com, the creator of Chakra Boosters Healing Tattoos. And today I'm coming to you from beautiful Puerto Peñasco, Mexico, with your energy forecast for September 2020. Now, I'm a little bit nervous today, so I feel like this is going to be an incredibly important forecast because I can just, you know how you get those feelings? It's like goosebumps. It's this something in the air, and it's in my legs right now, running up and down. I just feel that September, which begins on the first here in the Pacific time zone, September 1st, with the Pisces full moon. I will disclose that I am a Pisces. So if you're in my tribe, perhaps this holds some importance for you too. But I want to tell you that I'm feeling super vulnerable with this. Like, I don't want to go ahead in my typical, masculine, linear fashion of here are the dates. I will to a certain degree, but this month feels a little different, and I'm going to approach it a little bit differently, and I hope you'll be patient with me. I want to share with you that there's the sound of the ocean right here. It's behind me and beside me. There's also a building being constructed right behind the camera, so I'm looking at the building. And the reason I'm telling you this is for a couple things. One, there's a crane making sound, and I will try to cut that sound out and post if it becomes annoying, and it's probably going to be necessary for the waves anyway. But I want you to know that this building is, in Mexican fashion, they're constructing it while people are in it. So the first 9 floors or so are being lived in, and then it's about a 15, I think supposed to be a 15-floor building, and then there's just construction, rebar and cranes and men building things at the top for the next floors. And this is perfect symbolism for what's going on for us in September. We've been living in the lower part, as a culture, the lower part of our building. And we're being invited now to reach into the higher spiritual realms. And because of all the Virgoan energy coming in, we're being asked more than ever. We're actually being guided. We're not even being asked. We're being guided to bring that energy down, to bring it into this world, to bring it into our lives, to bring it into our bodies. There's this snapshot being taken at the beginning of the month that is so important, and it's opening a book that's telling a story through this month of September, and it's an important one. It's a really important one. So I'm going to try to share it with you in that way. I'll still go through some dates, but none of these dates in particular are as important as the story of the snapshot that's going to happen at the beginning of the month with the Pisces full moon, which of course gives us the opposition of the Virgo sun. So this is about the highest spiritual being brought into the real world in tangible, doable ways. So first I'm going to look at 3 themes, as I always do. I'm just going to talk about them for a moment. The first is this theme of huge spiritual insight, not just insight seeding. And it's about this feminine era that's been coming in. We're calling it feminine. We're often talking about it as the new age. What it is this release of masculine, linear, aggressive, direct, and ego-oriented, sort of self-oriented approach to life, replaced by a harmony that we see in nature. Like, a tree doesn't tell the universe, I'm not going to grow toward the sun or whatever. A tree just grows that way. When we look at nature in balance, it's just in harmony with spiritual energy, with universal energy. We are coming into one of the highest offerings of that we've ever seen, which leads me to my other 2 themes, which is the second one is the huge shift, an actual almost imperative is the word I want to use, that's saying, I'm literally seeing like Mars, I'm seeing him gagged. Mars in Aries, which is Mars, the masculine, let's fight, let's go for it. You know, I see him almost like a boxer in the corner of the ring, and he wants to get back into the ring, and he's being stopped. He's being held by both arms. And it's like we've been in the boxing ring. And that's this huge move that's been happening. It's going to have this very direct embodiment component. And I'm shooting this in the end of August. And so it's interesting. I feel like we're all going to move into this more feminine, more sensitive energy. And in many ways, COVID has been this huge preparation for this movement that the Pisces full moon is asking for. It's asking for us to be more aware, more sensitive to both ourselves, the divine, and our surroundings, because our surroundings are all part of the divine, right? It's the divine manifest, all the people we're around, the nature we're around. And then finally, our third theme is also related, and it's this idea that what we've known is capable in terms of change, in terms of surrender, but mostly change, is going to shift radically if we align. If we align with the divine, we're getting this direct ability now to make radical change because of the fact that we're getting into the higher parts of our building where change happens rapidly. In chakra terms, when we're dense and embodied and we're not in touch with the spirit so much, or even living in the upper chakras, then things are dense and heavy and we have to push. It's like pushing an ox cart. Can you feel that? But when we're in the realm of the throat and the heart and above, and the throat is where the magic really begins, because it's the ethereal template to creating things in this physical world from the spiritual, not from the push it hard. And I've done a lot of that, you guys. And even in the last 12 years as I've created Chakra Boosters, I've pushed a lot. And I've gotten the guidance from above, but the doing has come in the 3D realm. Well, what's happening now is the doing is now gets to be more quantum, if you'd like it to be. And why wouldn't you like it to be? Well, there will be a continuous pull toward drama, habit patterns, and addictions, toward looking outside of oneself rather than within and seeing only the news, the bad things. These are things that can pull you out of this huge, I'm getting almost shaky as I say it, awakening that's happening right now. It's like, as I say that, I almost want to cry. Whew. It's so strong, you guys. Wow. We are going through so much in September. There is so much opportunity here. I just cannot stress it enough. And there's going to be an opportunity. You know how I'm not such a technical person, and you know how when your computer says there's an upgrade available? Well, I'm going to admit that often I don't go for that upgrade because I'm afraid that when it upgrades, it's going to get stuck, or it's going to put on new features that I won't be able to navigate. And I'm just being really honest with you. And I can even feel an excitement and even almost a little fear, because I'm an empath and maybe I'm feeling the collective fear around this next upgrade, because it is gigantic, but it's still, and I cannot stress this enough, it's still, as always, our free will. It is just an offering. It's on your computer, it's in your being, and it will say, do you want to upgrade? Do you want to upgrade to this? And if you're in an insensitive place, if you're in that masculine energy, that linear, what's the word, trance that we've been in for literally thousands of years, but certainly this lifetime, if you're in that masculine, if you're addicted to what's happening in the physical world, unaware of the people around you, the energies around you, and all of the guidance above and around you, then you won't even see the message for the upgrade. And then that's one option. The other option is you see it, but you literally get scared of it. Like I was just saying, like, it's going to screw up my whole life. I can't stand that much change. And you'll turn it down. And I really want to offer to you to keep an eye out for this upgrade. It's coming. It's going to offer to It's going to offer itself to you like every day of September practically, but particularly though with a huge wallop on the 1st and 2nd when that full moon in Pisces comes in. And if you take it, depending on where you are in your life now, there will be shifts. And if you allow and surrender, like if you didn't see my video 2 weeks ago on the S words for surrendering into the feminine, I highly recommend watching that again. I mean, watching that, or if you saw it, watching it again, because it's what we're about right now. And at the end, I'm floating in the water. This is what we want to do with divine energy. And divine energy is represented in everyone around us. And in September, we have an opportunity to literally upgrade our whole being to this new age of Aquarius. Okay, let's talk about the dates. And less than usual, I'm not going to focus as much this time. Less than usual will be all the dates. I want to spend some time with the book, the chapter that's opening on the 1st if you're in Pacific zone, because it's the end of the 1st. It's going to be on the 2nd of September for most of the world. But of course, I'm in Pacific, and this is going to happen at 10:22 p.m. Pacific on the 1st of September. Really is interesting to me in my world how you've got the 1st of September, then you've got 10. I'm going to tell you how important 10 is in a minute, which is also 1, new beginnings. It's also the number of the divine in numerology. Then 22, which is again an echo of this 2-2 energy, the 20-20 energy, the feminine heart energy that's been happening all year. Right? So 22, no matter where you are in the world, is happening. So wow, that's the echo of 2020. We're going to see more clearly this month. We're going to be given an opportunity to see more clearly and to upgrade. So at 10:22 p.m. Pacific on the 1st of September, we have a full moon in Pisces. Now, obviously, I'm more affected, so I'm just being honest. I might be more affected than you. This is my sun sign, and it's going to have a real dance this month. There's a lot going on with Mars and Aries, and that's also my moon, sun and moon. And then my rising is Aquarius, and we're having this huge dance or this huge event on the 1st with the full moon in Pisces, with Uranus, who is the ruler, which is the ruler of Aquarius, and we're moving into the age of Aquarius. So there's something happening for me that's really it's just like whoa. And so I want to be honest about that. I think it's for the collective. I think it's why I've been serving for the last 12 years. It has that feeling to it. Still, that having been said, whatever doesn't speak to you, just let it go. Okay? Just let it go. All right, guys. Whew, gotta take my time today. So when 10:22 at Pacific comes along, change that to, it'll probably be the 2nd for you elsewhere in the world and your time. When that comes, we basically have a full moon in Pisces, and we have the sun in Virgo, directly opposite. They are both at 10 degrees, which again is the spiritual number. It's like the number of spirit coming in, and it's also 1 and 0 reduces to 1, so it's also new beginning. So while a moon is usually a culmination, I feel like this is a culmination of our baby steps into and toward this radical change into spiritual energy, feminine energy, caring for each other more, caring for our planet more, and being able to make quantum change. Because realize Pisces and Virgo are both mutable signs. And Pisces is the crown. Pisces is the third eye in the crown. It's that spiritual energy coming in. It's ruled by Neptune and ruled by Jupiter. And then you have Virgo, root, taking care of business. So this huge expanse. And there's another analogy with my life, because I'm in my chakra life cycle 1-7, root and crown. So you can see why I'm having shivers and everything. It's just so huge. And I think still it's huge collectively, because that's the whole expanse of the chakras. We're being invited to own it all, to upgrade to it all. That 10 degrees in Pisces and 10 degrees in Virgo is also then affected by 10 degrees of Uranus, remember, that rules Aquarius, age of Aquarius, in Taurus. And Taurus is about earth, beauty, pleasure, and it's another earth sign, it's another grounding, but unlike Virgo that takes care of business, I think of Taurus as like the more feminine earth. It loves beauty. Think of Taurus is ruled by Venus. Venus is about beauty. Venus has been politely, nicely knocking on our door. She's been blowing through the conch shell for a while now to say, can we be gentler with each other? Can we be gentler with ourselves? Can we live in the kind of sensitivity that's needed for us, one, to be aligned with the divine more and bring the divine energies into this earth, and two, to be sensitive to each other on this crowded planet, and to make room so that we all can bring our love and wisdom and beauty into the planet, to be sensitive to each other. Sensitivity has certainly been lacking much of the time, and I've been as guilty as many because my moon's in Aries and I'm a real go for it, get it done kind of person. And this energy just feels like a huge invitation into more awareness, especially embodied awareness, more softness. The Uranus is actually trine to Virgo, the sun in Virgo, and it is sextile to the moon, to the full moon. So it's got this beautiful harmonious relationship to both the sun and the moon. And the sun and the moon are in opposition in a beautiful harmonious way of crown chakra and root, spirit and bringing it home. Now, aside from this, there's a couple other things that are happening that are amazing. There's an incredible, and this is all happening on the full moon, okay? But it's going to affect the whole month. So that's why I'm spending so much time on this full moon. There's an incredible cardinal T-square between Venus, Venus is in Cancer. Venus loves being in Cancer, emotional, feminine. She feels good there. She gets to be really feminine and sensitive. And if you've watched my videos from a few months ago, you know we just finished moving our from the south node of Capricorn into the north node on May 5th. We completed the lesson of coming into Cancer. So now here's Venus coming in and saying, now let's embody what we learned. Let's be about love, not just about competition. Let's be about sensitivities, emotions, pleasures, the beauty of this planet. Can you feel that? The cardinal T-square is between Venus, her lover Mars, so she's squaring Mars. So there's, Venus is always loving even in a square, so this is more of a longing, like when a woman loves a man but she's upset with something that's going on or he's too far away and she's like, come closer. Well, Mars is in Aries, it's in its own home sign, so it wants to move forward. It's like, I'm going forward, I'm fighting, and yet the T-square is completed with Saturn in Capricorn. Okay, so we have Mars in Aries, we have Saturn in Capricorn, and we have Venus in Cancer. I just want you to feel that. And the Venus and Saturn are opposite each other. So Venus is, I believe, the complement to the limits of Saturn the limits of Saturn this whole year have been about COVID, have been about, whoa, stop, break your patterns. So Saturn, it hasn't been fun, but Saturn's been here limiting us in certain ways. And Venus is the anecdote. She's the anecdote across. I'm just feeling like she's across from Saturn. So she's in opposition and it's creating a T-square. And basically the story of the T-square is it's time for us Saturn is stopping the Mars and Aries from doing its usual fight. So I keep seeing, my guides keep showing me a boxer in the corner ready to go into the ring, and he's totally being held back, totally. And in place of it, it's like out in the audience, Venus is talking with the people in the audience, and she's feeling into them, and she's laughing at their stories, and she's communing, and she's giving flowers. It's like She's in this really sensitive space. And because the boxing match is not happening, this is important, she has an ability to soften. Woo. Wow, as I say that, guys, I get super emotional because I realize that in my life and the way I grew up, a lot of my Mars masculine has been protecting me. And funny, the sun just went behind the clouds when I said protecting me. So, and of course, you know, we've got Aries, got that fiery sun energy. It's so interesting. So by having it masked, by having this Aries energy, this Mars energy masked a little bit. So what people often say, what astrologers say, when with this month we've got Mars and Aries, and everyone's calling it like frustrated, right? Because it wants to get in the ring, and there's two things happening. One, it's going to go in retrograde on the 9th, and we'll talk about that. And you want to be aware of that because it's a close planet to us, relatively speaking. And so we don't feel when Jupiter goes direct, Saturn, not as much. But when Mars goes direct, it's a little like Mercury going direct in the sense that we'll really feel it. And you're either going to feel an invitation, the pullback in the ring is either going to be, you're going to identify with Mars, and that's easy for me. So I'm watching myself in September. And you're going to want to bust out. You're going to be that boxer in the ring, and you're going to be wrestling with the people that are holding you out of the ring. And you're going to be frustrated and passive aggressive and you know, it's just going to be like, because you can't move, so you're going to find other ways. You're going to probably hurl insults, but those insults will come out passive aggressively because you have no swing, you have no fight, right? You're being pulled back. And I'm not sure if I was super clear. Why has Mars in Aries been pulled back? Because it's having a T, that T square, it's squared with Saturn, the limiter. Venus is being opposed and complementing those limits, but Mars is being literally stopped. And there's also two other planets in Capricorn, Pluto and Jupiter. Jupiter's at a very close degree as well too, so they are also just tempering Mars and saying stop, stop. So to continue on this story, there's this opportunity for Venus to come out, and here's the big thing, especially in regard to our communications, because Mercury is trine to Venus during all this, and Mercury is at 24 degrees, Venus is at 25 degrees. They are really harmonizing, so the feminine has a chance to have a voice. Can you feel my body? I'm like really into it this month. Like, here's finally the Mars. It's exciting for me because I've needed my Mars to just be held back. Finally, with the Mars in Aries in its most, like, think of full gas pedal, just like wants to just take off, full tank of gas, foot on the pedal, everything. I mean, totally in gear, and somehow it's like being held back, like a rocket that can't launch. And in that being held back, we turn our gaze to Venus. She finally gets to speak. She finally gets to feel as this Mars, this masculine energy is being held back. Now, eventually they're lovers, and interestingly in this story, by the end of the month, they are trine on the 28th. It's incredible. So they go from square, in opposition, to trine, our masculine and feminine. So what this means to me is that in the beginning of the month, where we've been for so long, which is masculine has been taking over, but it gets stuck. It's in its most aggressive position, and we just say no. The universe says no. And then our feminine comes out. She feels like she can speak through Mercury. And Mercury is also answering to these beautiful moon energies, and yeah, there's just a lot of spiritual qualities, sensitivity to it. And so she gets to speak, and then what happens is when you have an inequity, a masculine feminine inequity, true feminine, the wisdom that's coming onto this planet, understands that balance is what's needed. And even knowing that, at first we need to be more feminine, right? Because we've been more masculine, and this feels like the turning point month for that. So if you want to be more sensitive, if you want to soften, if you want to open, If you know you've been too linear, too forward pushing, too caught in the 3D realm, and even me, I get messages all the time from the divine. I follow them all the time, but I have been operating a lot in the 3D realm instead of just surrendering and letting the divine lead me, not just in my inspirations, but in my body. Let the feminine lead me, this more surrendered, softer way of being. And when we do this, the wave of vulnerability, the movement we've been seeing around being more transparent, more vulnerable, it has its heyday right now. It gets to speak through you if you want it. And again, everything's always a choice on this earth. There's nothing being commanded. There's much being suggested and much being offered. And there's pain sometimes in swimming upstream against it, but you do always get to choose where you want to be and how you want to align with it. All right, so I've told you about the first, so keep that in mind. I just want to mention real quickly on the 6th that Venus energy that's so important this month, it moves from Cancer, but it moves into Leo while Mars is still having that pressure from Saturn. And so she's in now the shining position. She goes into Leo, and she goes from being, Leo is sensitive, Cancer is sensitive, but Leo is outward, outgoing, is going to spread the message despite that sensitivity, whereas Cancer has, you know, is going to go inside the crab shell. So this is a beautiful birth of the feminine. We feel it in the full moon. We're not ready to, maybe the Mercury will help us express it. We can express it in safe places, but don't go right out and go, the feminine. But give yourself a few days to marinate, and then when Venus moves into Leo, you're going to be more ready to, there's going to feel like more power and fire and masculine aid. Can you feel that? To your feminine way of being. So it's almost like, you know, when a cheerleader does a beautiful move, and often the male cheerleaders, sometimes the feminine ones, but the masculine energy will support her. Or if the cheerleaders do a pyramid, the support underneath, that's what is happening here. So that's on the 6th. Then on the 9th, Mars goes retrograde. So some say that will increase the frustration of Mars, and as I say that, hammers start to go on the building. Did you hear that? I don't know if you can hear it, and I hope my noise cancellation doesn't completely take it away, but just as I was saying that, hammers, bam, bam, bam. So Mars retrograde, Mars was already kind of frustrated. Now Mars is going into retrograde. So it's as if one more person has come and now pulling that boxer back. So where's the boxer in you? Are you going to focus on the frustration of this energy that doesn't want to move forward? It needs to move in. It needs to look at itself. So the masculine is being held back to look at itself, while the feminine is being asked, go, shine. That Leo, Venus in Leo, go for it. The new age is about you shining, showing us and show us a new way to live. I know I keep turning this way, you guys. I'm not sure why. I think it's because the ocean is to my right. I keep turning to the ocean, the feminine. So the cosmos are literally showing us, guiding us to move more into the feminine in an actual physical way. And that means more sensitivity, more vulnerability, more receptivity, more connection to the divine, more surrender in your leadership, which means you listen, get it from the divine, get it for what's best for all. See, Mars is the first sign, and it's the most immature masculine, and it takes the quickest action, and it just goes for it. Right? Without really thinking often of the bigger picture of everyone else. So Venus in Leo is taking charge as Mars goes into retrograde. And by the end of the month, they're going to come back with a whole new balance. You'll see. On the 12th, Jupiter goes direct. This just brings benevolence. This brings Jupiter, we won't feel it very much. It won't be like when Mars goes retrograde, be ready to feel a shift in your energy, in your fire, in, you know, you might have less energy, or you might have more because it's pent up, frustrated. But with Jupiter, it's just kind of like just a nice blanket of luck, of move forward, of yes, go with the spiritual. Can you feel that? And I believe this energy is really a healing balm on the COVID situation. As I said that, then a saw began, electric saw, so interesting. Okay, so then on the 17th, we have a new moon in Virgo. Here's what I'd like you to check in with. Have you taken your Virgo energy, your organizational, discerning, real world, calm, mature Virgoan energy, and moved it forward this month into a more feminine, spiritual, sensitive, yet, you know what I mean, there's more sensitivity to it, because Virgo rules healing. And to be healers for each other, to heal ourselves and the earth, we don't really need to heal it. We just need to not mistreat her. She does well on her own. She was like, my guides were speaking to me to be very clear about that earth is such a strong energy on her own. We just need to not hurt her. When we say heal, what we really mean, there's hubris in that, because we can't heal the earth. She's constantly healing us. We just need to be in love with her. So how can you serve, because that service is a Virgo thing, organize in ways that are more feminine, be more aware of healing. And Virgo's ruled by Mercury, is why Mercury is so important this month, because Mercury is giving an outlet for Venus to communicate, to really communicate. The feminine gets to communicate this month. So your intentions around the new moon might just be to check into everything I've talked about and then set an intention around it. How can I be guided more by spirit, more surrendered, less ego-oriented, less direct, less immature, impulsive, more clear about what's good for the collective? How can I allow myself to feel more my feminine, be more sensitive, be more in the realms of visioning and dreaming and allowing, but bringing, how can I bring that in through the Virgo? Like, how do I want my Virgo energy to serve me? What do I want my Virgo energy to organize? What do I want Virgo, my communications, to do? And how do I want to open my ability for quantum change? Because remember, Virgo and Pisces are about quantum change. They're about change, and this month feels like it's saying, okay, they've come together in a way they've never come together before. So you got it now. Your earth is connected to your crown. Your root and crown are coming together. If you follow the signs of this month, you follow the energies, they're coming together. So now it's like, now what do? You just ask. You set out that intention. You notice I didn't say, set an intention, I will do this, I will do. That's masculine. Can you feel it? Set a feminine intention of being guided, and of everything you've noticed, all your intuition, how you can keep following that. Libra is such a beautiful embodiment of heart energy. And the equinox is so perfect because it's in Libra and it's asking us, okay, let's come back with the scales. Hopefully in the first part of the month, we really let the feminine have her voice. We let her come out. In her voice in our body is this. Do you see my hands? It's like her voice isn't just her voice. Her voice is every swaying, flowing movement in our body. Venus's voice is our emotions, these emotions that keep popping through me today. And this is what's wanting to come through, and it's so beautiful, and it gives us such a connection to each other from a real place. And just stop and honor it, the scales of it, the heart and air energy of Libra on the 22nd, and that we're going more into the womb, into winter, into the darkness. And what is it that we're going to plant in there for this winter? What do we want to incubate with? On the 28th, I already mentioned that Venus trines Mars. So they were square on the 1st, 2nd at the beginning of the month, and I feel like Mars wanted to go out and he got held back, and as he's held back, he watched what happened while he was held back. His feminine, his beloved, his counterpart, your counterpart, my counterpart, like we all have Mars and Venus in us. We have it in our relationships, and we also have it within us. And as the Mars in us was held back, the Mars in us matured by watching the feminine, Venus, move and shine. First get super sensitive in her Cancer energy, really vulnerable, and then finally come out and shine in the Leo energy. And so he got to fall in love with Venus again. And I think this matures Mars. If we really went into that, if you go into, I'm acting as if it's already happened because it's feeling like it has, if you go into the Venus energy deeply this month, your Mars will mature. Your Mars, it's like a man watching a woman just do her beautiful heart thing. Be the motions that she is, be the ocean that she is, be the mystery, the spirituality, the healing, the hope, the love, that mother energy that she can be, that sensual muse that she can be. All that is the pleasure and beauty of Venus. When a man just watches that shine, he matures when it's the woman he loves. And there's a natural desire and love within your masculine, feminine. So they've gone full circle now, and Venus trines with Mars, which is like coming back to be together, to harmonize, to make love on the 28th. And then on the 29th, Saturn goes direct. Saturn goes direct, so we get a little more of this imperative Earth energy, but Saturn's a big planet, so you might not feel it too much, but I think it's just reminding us of like super planting all this Virgo work. The Virgo, I started to see Virgo following Venus energy around this month. Like Virgo's just there to like bow to the feminine and say, let me plant the seeds of that, let me plant. And Mercury's there to be that voice. Mercury rules Virgo, and Mercury's there to be that voice. Okay guys, I want to thank you so much for being patient this month with the different format, a little less organized, and I have already shuffled to save a little time, and I've cut the cards, and I'm choosing the first goddess card for September. So the first half of the month, it's Coventina. Coventina's word is purification. She's actually associated with water. So here I am by the ocean. I felt a real need, despite all the construction sounds and the wave sounds, to come out here and be near the water, because September is marked by the embodied blossoming of the feminine on our planet. It will not be saturated into all of our systems. That's coming later, but that's what September's about. And in the first half of the month, Coventina says it is time for a cleansing, detoxification of your body and mind. How true. I mean, I can't even tell you how big this is. It goes back thousands of years. We are talking about a big, long masculine cycle. Wow, we have to give ourselves some love and patience through this process, because when you've been going a certain direction for a long time, changing it isn't all that easy. And I still stand by the belief that COVID has been a huge pattern interrupt. Pattern interrupts are necessary for us to change habits, and many of us will never change patterns unless we're forced. So an interrupt forces us to change. And we are now being asked to purify ourselves in terms of these more masculine aggressive energies. I really take it as that. So we're taking stock for the first half of the month, allowing that Venus energy to land on the full moon of Pisces, and just really noticing, letting that feminine energy trickle through us, move through us, and noticing how it shifts our life, how it lovingly affects those around us, how our life can have more ease, more love, more pleasure, more breadth in it when we move from the feminine. So that's the first half of the month. The second half is, I keep pulling them upside down, but just doesn't apply to this. So, although you could say these are things we're changing, but I got solace. Bodies of water. Can you believe that? Bodies of water. This, I can't even begin to tell you how sacral. September has a lot of earth energy. It has the magic of Uranus, so there's it has all the chakras, all the energies. But the one to focus on, the player in the movie, she's actually down in the corner, that's Venus. That's the sacral. Like, she gets to shine. She's going to move and get sensitized. She's going to come out of sensitive Cancer that she's been in August and will be during the full moon. And on the 6th, she comes into Leo. And I don't think she's going to roar. She's more going to purr, but she's going to purr loudly. And everyone's going to look at her and go, I want to purr like that. And so bodies of water, this is what it's about, the sacral. Get near the water. It's going to help you to soften in. Venus, literally Aphrodite and Venus, they come on the clamshell, out of the water, right? And so it's time to spend time near water, such as a lake, river, ocean, to recharge your batteries. Now, if you're somewhere where you cannot get to an ocean, just know that if you're watching this, you're in my Chakra Boosters family. I love you. I'm going to include you. I will be here on this very beach through the evening of the full moon. I'm leaving on the 2nd. So that evening of the full moon at 10:22 p.m., I will be here on the ocean, right here. I will be here on the beach. And I will bring a loving intention of feminine oceanic energies for our entire Chakra Boosters family and then out to the whole planet. But I will definitely feel into you, my Chakra Boosters family. You mean so much to me, whether you've been here for a month or for the 10 plus years I've been doing this. It's actually been 12 years, but I'm talking about doing more videos, and that I've done them more in the last 10 years. And if you've been here with me during any of that time, I'm so grateful. Let us walk into September together and birth this new, flowing, nature-connected, spirit-connected, cyclical energy that's just ready to birth into this planet. Let us really be with this energy in September. Let it flow through us, and I will have a full moon ritual here on the beach where I will honor that we're here. We're here at the door of the age of Aquarius, and we're moving through it now in an embodied way, bringing the feminine forward, bringing compassion, love, healing, the unconditional love of the mothering, the acceptance, the realizing we're all in this together. We're on this planet together. We're all on the same team. There is no other team but us. So that's it, you guys. That's it for the forecast. Maybe it's a little long. The feminine in me wants to apologize, and instead I just want to say, I love you, and I will see you on the next video.